Well, with the conclusion of Sean's storyline last week, now it is finally time to wrap up Maya's storyline. Hey guys, coming for Girl Meets World, Season 3, Episode 7, Girl Meets True Maya, and I was really looking forward to this episode. Obviously, I've really been enjoying this storyline overall. The season in general has been really great, and especially after last week's episode, just showing me what the show is capable of, I really was looking forward to seeing how this episode was going to be, because even though Maya, found herself, started to go back into that old Maya that we know, this episode was more wrapping things up. It was more closure. It was more of us seeing Maya finally realize who she is, come to terms with how to find that balance, and I really did love that because, let's face it, last week's episode, it focused a lot more on Sean than it did on Maya. It focused on Maya, definitely, but it was the second chapter. This was the last chapter of Maya really finding herself, and let's just get into this story. Now, let me just say, I half liked this episode. I really did love this episode overall. I felt there was some really great stuff going on here. I think Sabrina Carpenter, again, amazing performance from her. The subplot in this episode really did kill it. We'll get into the subplot in a second, because it really did bother me a little bit. But let's get to the main plot here, because I thought the main plot was overall very interesting. I love the beginning with Riley, with her just brushing her hair, and her singing about brushing her hair. I mean, this is just the free-spirited Riley that we've come to know, and now that everything seems good in the world, Riley's kind of back to her old self as well. I mean, Riley has been deeply stressed out by what's going on with Maya. I mean, she has been determined to get Maya back, and now that she thinks that Maya's back, she's basically back to her good old cheerful self, and I really did love seeing that, her brushing her hair, her singing to Maya as Maya comes in. We can tell right away that Maya is thinking that she's going to do something bad. She just has this urge to just commit something bad because that's who she is. Now she's come back to who she is. She feels that she needs to do something bad, and this really scares Riley. She's worried that she's the one that caused this, and that's something that I really do want to talk about. A lot of people are talking about, oh, this is all Riley's fault, why Maya's ended up like this. No, it's not. What Riley was trying to do was show Maya, you can be nice, but you don't have to be exactly like me. That is what Riley wants, and Riley did not at all let Maya turn into her. Maya let herself turn into Riley because she didn't really realize who she was. And again, this is a problem that many people have in their freshman year of high school, but basically Maya's really worried that she's going to do something bad, and you're thinking that she's going to do something bad as well. This really scares Riley, and I think it's a very good setup for the rest of the episode, because throughout the rest of the episode we see Riley increasingly very worried of what's going to happen, not knowing what Maya's going to do, but also sticking by Maya's side. And it's very reminiscent of the first episode of the show ever, where Maya did that homework rebellion, and even though Riley didn't think it was okay, she did give in. The difference is here, she's going to monitor Maya, see what she's going to do, and she's not going to stop Maya. You can tell she's not going to stop Maya. She's going to let Maya do what she wants to, but she's also going to, observe Maya, see what she's really going to do, see what she's really getting at, and I thought that was definitely very well done. I thought it was a very good way to start the episode, really to set us up for what kind of episode this is really going to be like. So then we get to the classroom scene, and here's one of my biggest problems with the episode. I understand that Smackle and Zay aren't exactly involved in this whole storyline, but not having them in the classroom just felt really weird. I mean, we saw in the first episode that Smackle and Zay are in the same class, are in Corey's class. There's no reason for them not to be in this episode. I don't know why they're not here. I guess the Michael Jacobs just didn't want to revolve a story around them, but there was no reason for them not to be here. I mean, Smackle's mentioned, but Zay's not mentioned once. It just felt very strange that they're not here. They become an integral part of the story that when they're not here, it just feels weird. Especially Zay, who seems to be like the fifth member of the, of the friends and everything, and he's just not there. It just felt very strange, and their absence definitely was shown. I mean, I always love Zay. I really do like Smackle, and luckily they're back next week, but, basically it just felt weird that they weren't here. But basically, in the classroom scene, Riley's really worried that Maya's going to do something bad. Corey's talking about Pompeii and the volcano and everything, and I like the way she compared the volcano to Maya overall, that, volcano just erupt at any point and just it'll go off, and it's just like Maya. She's like a ticking time bomb. She's ready to go off, and the fire alarm goes off. Riley thinks that Maya pulled it, and I love the way that Riley tries to take control of the class and take charge and get everyone to buddy up and use the buddy system, but then she realizes it was just a glitch in the system from the office. I thought stuff like that was very well done. I definitely really did enjoy that. I thought it was a bit over the top, definitely the way that Riley handled it, but I thought overall that was pretty funny. I definitely really did enjoy that. It was not as over the top as a subplot, which I'll definitely get into, but I thought that was definitely really interesting the way that was done. So Maya does nothing bad there. Everything's fine. Riley's surprised she didn't do anything bad there. She was expecting her to, but she didn't do anything bad there. So then we get to, after the classroom scene, we see Maya didn't do anything. So Farkle, Lucas, and Riley are talking. Lucas is doing this really hilarious British accent, which I'd love to see more of. I mean, this quirky side of Lucas we really haven't seen before, and I really did enjoy seeing that. But Lucas, basically, he's making everyone laugh, and Maya, for whatever reason, is not laughing. She's not laughing, and they don't know why she's not laughing. And I love the way they compared Lucas to Maya, because yes, we know that Lucas used to be very rebellious, and he used to do a lot of bad things in school, but he turned himself around. He found a way to find a bridge, to bridge the gap between those two things, between rebellious and between a good student, and Maya doesn't really know how to do that yet, and Maya even says she doesn't even know if she likes Lucas anymore, which is really interesting, but again, it makes sense, because she said, I'm going to like you when I find out what it is I like about you, and I thought it was just interesting that she really doesn't seem like she is part of this friend group anymore. She doesn't really want to be there at this point, and basically this gets them to really question her, asking who she is, what do they want her to be, and she says, look, if you want the old Maya, you got her. She storms out, really pissed off at what's going on. There's even a whole thing with them thinking that Katie loses money in her cash register, and they accuse Maya of doing so, because they think that she's going to do something really bad, and Maya, you can tell, hasn't done anything bad, but she's kind of thinking of doing so, and I didn't see this as them taunting her. I didn't think of this as them thinking, oh, she's gonna do something terrible. Maya literally said, I feel like doing something bad, so they're constantly worried that everything that's caused in this episode is Maya's fault, and Maya says, look, I didn't do anything bad, but if you want the old Maya, you got her. She storms out, and then that sets us up on when the episode gets amazing, which is in this next scene. So this was really enjoying the episode. I didn't think it was amazing, but this is when the episode just becomes so much better than it already was. I absolutely love this next scene, because Maya goes to this park, and she's ready to destroy it. She's ready to destroy it. She's ready to vandalize it. She's ready to do as much damage as possible, pretty much. She has like a spray paint. She's got a hammer. She's got a brick. I mean, I literally thought she was going to destroy the entire park. I literally thought she was going to do something really bad like that, but she actually doesn't do anything. She really sits and thinks about what to do. But then she sees her friends come out, Carla and Renee. These are if Carla used to be her best friend before Riley when she was in that rebellious part of town, and then Renee is basically Carla's version of Riley, where Renee is kind of like the good girl, doesn't really do anything that bad. Carla, however, is very much like Maya. She's more of an extreme version of Maya. This is who Maya could have become, and I love when Maya's looking at Carla and realizing, holy shit, this is who I could have been, and just realizing that this is her, and the way she talks to Carla, you can just tell Carla thinks that Maya's still like her. She doesn't understand the radical change in Maya. That's because there isn't much of a change in Carla. Carla hasn't undergone that change. Carla hasn't gone through as good an education as Maya has, and Carla doesn't have the kind of family relationship that Maya has with Riley's family, because they're kind of like her second family, definitely. And that's something that Maya really realizes, how grateful she really is for Riley. I mean, I thought this overall was very interesting, and the way they talk about Riley, and how Maya says that, Riley gives her joy in life, and she's really defensive of Riley, and Carla goes as far to say, is you chose the wrong friends, and you went on the wrong path, and you should have gone with us, and she gives her the hammer and the brick. She says, you know what to do with it, and it looks like they're going to vandalize it. Renee even vandalizes part of the head. She takes it off with the hammer, and the scene we saw in the promo was so misleading. I've talked before, never watch the Girl Meets World promos because they're so misleading. They made it seem like Maya was going to do something bad. She actually didn't do anything bad, and basically, I thought she was Maya's look looked like she was ready to bash Carla's head with the hammer, which honestly, I would not have minded if she did. Obviously, this is Disney Channel, so they can't show that, but she literally looked like she was going to pick that hammer and bash her head in, because Carla was being such a bitch. Carla was really just, this really was temptation. I think the episode was really about not letting that temptation get to you, because that's a big part of high school, is falling in with the wrong crowd. And remember, Sean doesn't want Maya to become like him, and I think Maya was really thinking about this. Sean talked about how he went rogue, he went a certain way, and he went away from his friends, and Maya doesn't want to do the same thing. She wants to steer away from that, and at the last moment, she says, I have a hammer, I have a brick, I know what I'm going to do, and she actually doesn't do anything. We don't know if she does, because then we cut back, we don't know what Maya did, we don't know if she vandalized the property or not, but then we get to the end of the episode, which really is incredible. I just thought that whole scene was such a good showcase for Sabrina Carpenter. I love the way that was done. Amazing stuff there. She absolutely killed in that scene, and it really sets us up for how good the ending of this episode really is. Because we see this police officer who we saw before with Augie, which we'll talk about in a subplot, but basically this police officer comes in, and Maya is arrested, we see. She's under arrest, and everyone's freaking out over what she did and how she vandalized the property, and we don't know if she actually caused damage or not. And Maya blames Riley, says this is Riley's fault, and she says that don't visit me in prison because I know you're going to bake me a pie and everything. Kind of a humorous scene between them, but Lucas and Farkle find her, and they all go back to the park, and we see that Maya hasn't done anything bad. Instead, what she did was she put a thing that says hope, and why did she say hope? What was it that the art teacher said to her? That she paints hope, that is what her emotion is all about. She expresses hope in all of her drawings, while Riley just expresses positivity. Maya expresses hope, and that's something that Maya really wants to do. She wants to, I think, show hope to everyone. They go back, they see what she's done. She's changed all the statues to their faces, basically. She's made it look like their faces, and we've seen Maya's gone back to that creative self of hers, and I really love the way the scene was done, where she talks about how she was gonna do something bad, but she realized that she would be a worse, that she wouldn't be, she wouldn't be comfortable if she did do that, and she'd be more okay if she didn't do anything, and that if she was to throw a brick, she could have done that, but it wouldn't have shown that she's better. It would have shown that she's gotten worse, and she doesn't want to really do that. And I think Maya's realizing that she's more mature than them. She's going to walk away. She's going to be the bigger person, and basically the officer sees what she's done. He says, all right, you haven't done anything bad, but I'm going to go after the Carla girl and to keep watch of her. And the way that Maya was able to scare them away, I absolutely loved. And now it really does seem like Maya's gone back. She's realizing who she really is. She's realizing that there's a time to be rebellious and a time to not be rebellious, and she's really realizing the balance between those two, which I really did love seeing. I've said it before, there has to be a balance there, and she has found that balance. We see the four friends, they all look at the statue, and that's basically the way the episode ends. I really did love that overall. I thought overall it was a very good ending, and that's pretty much everything I really liked. So the main plot I thought was very well done. I really loved everything that was going on there, but let's get more into the subplot, because for me, that's what really killed this episode, was what was going on in that subplot, which I kind of get what the point of this was and kind of not get, because again, it kind of dealt with being influenced by someone and things like that, but it just didn't do much of anything for me. Augie's been gone for 2 episodes now. He hasn't had anything to do in episode 5 or episode 6. He hasn't been there for either episode, and I get that this was his return. They want to give Augie something to do. But his character has gone through many really good stuff this year. A lot of really good dramatic stuff that I really did enjoy, like what was going on with him in the parts of high school with him comforting Ava, or what was going on with Girl Meets Permanent Record, where he was talking about third grade and how it's different than the other grades and things like that, and how he was upset about it. I thought they did some really good, mature stuff with Augie. Actually, this felt like retreading into that ground that I really didn't want them to. I've talked about before, the lowest point of the show, and when you know a subplot's gonna be bad, is if it involves Topanga and Augie. That's usually when it's really bad. Ava has become a much better character. Doi, however, I have not really been enjoying. I liked him when he was first introduced, but after that first episode, I really could not stand him, especially after that Halloween episode. And here, once again, I really was getting annoyed by this character of Doi. I mean, this whole storyline with him, I didn't give a shit about. The fact that Doi, we find out, has been stealing candy, and Topanga thinks it's not that big of a deal that he's been stealing candy and what he's been doing. Basically, it says just a kid and everything. Police officer comes in. It turns out that Doi's been doing this for years now, and he's been stealing candy for like months or whatever, and he's ready to arrest Doi, but Augie tells him that, he doesn't really understand Doi and things like that, so he lets Doi get off with it. Police officer tells him to, give more evidence and everything and what's been going on, and again, it just didn't do much for me. I didn't find it that interesting. I didn't find it funny. I thought at least it gave Topanga something to do, but I just didn't find it interesting. I thought it was annoying. I thought it just really kept the episode down, and one of the best things about these past 2 episodes focused on one plot, and this episode focused on 2 plots, and I don't even think the second plot was necessary. I don't know why it was really there. I don't really think it needed to be there. It was really only there to introduce the cop character, who was actually played by, I think, the dad on Family Matters, which is interesting, but for me, it just didn't really do much of anything. I was not at all into it, and had that not been there, this would have been a perfect episode, but unfortunately, because it wasn't there, I honestly think it kind of weighed some of the episode down. I think it kind of took away some time for us to get some scenes with Farkle or Smackle, with Smackle or Zed Zay, which was actually a scene where Farkle kisses Maya, and I love the line he says, where he says, things are going to happen more abruptly now, change is going to happen quicker. And again, I've talked about before, Farkle's the one that gets it. He gets the sense that they're growing up. He gets the sense that things are changing, and he gets the sense that they can't keep acting the same way they have for 3 years. And he's really the one, I think, that's undergone the most change. He really has. Farkle's gone through so much, but it's believable. He understands that he's had to change. He understands that he can't be this science geek all the time. He can be this, look like a tough guy, but really deep down, he is a soft soul, and I really did like seeing that with Farkle. I definitely thought that was very well done. But like I said, had the episode not that subplot, I think the episode would have been a lot better. So overall, I really did enjoy this episode. I thought everything going on with Maya was great. I think Sabrina Carpenter really killed in all those scenes. It's just the subplot for me really almost ruined this entire episode. I really thought it was really dumb. I'm glad that it was as short as it was. It was only like 2 scenes. I'm glad it was only 2 scenes. It didn't need to go on any longer than that. I thought overall it was just really dumb. I didn't care about what was going on there. But I really thought the overall message of this episode was great. Is that, you can be bad and you can be good, but you got to find a balance between those two. You can't go completely bad and you can't be completely good. There's got to be a balance. Maya's now found that balance, and now she's found the balance, she's able to move on, and now it seems like we're done with this whole Maya finding herself plot, which honestly, I think it was good that they used over 3 episodes. I think they were able to tell this story very well. I definitely really did enjoy it, and overall, it was just really interesting the way it went. I really loved the way that this whole storyline turned out. I thought overall, it was just really well done, and really did show, again, Sabrina Carpenter's acting abilities. I really love what she was able to accomplish in these 3 episodes. Do I think the storyline's done? No, because the whole Lucas, Riley, Maya plot is not over, and that's really going to translate into next week, which next week is Ski Lodge. Next week is Ski Lodge, and I heard things are going to get very interesting here. It looks like they're finally going to make a choice between, Riley and Maya are going to finally make a choice, but there's going to be some obstacles along the way, and Michael Jacobs said there's going to be a huge twist coming in this episode. I'm assuming that based on that guy that Riley saw, something's going to happen there, or she's going to cheat on Lucas or something, but her and Lucas aren't even together, so I don't really know what's going to happen. I think that overall is going to be very interesting to see what ends up happening with that. I'm definitely looking forward to Ski Lodge overall. I think it's going to be a lot of fun to watch. It's also going to be a very big episode because it's a part 1, part 2 episode, so that's going to be really big. And I also heard it's this year's Texas, so I'm sure it's a huge episode. And I'm pretty sure if Maya and Lucas kiss, they'll actually show the kiss this time because it was ridiculous that they didn't show it last year. And also, I'm hoping that we do get some sort of update about Sean and Katie's wedding, because I don't want them just going Girl Meets I Do and this, randomly they're getting married. I want to see them again. Sean one last time, especially since this was Ski Lodge. There's rumors that Lauren can make an appearance or something's going to happen. I feel like there's going to be a lot of callbacks to Boy Meets World, which I hope there was, because they're going back to the same place that they were in Boy Meets World, which it is a little bit ridiculous that they're going there, but I'm happy that they're going that direction. Looking forward to seeing how that all turns out next week. But other than that, guys, other than not seeing Smackle and Zay, who are in next week's episode, thank God, I'm glad, because it's just been really weird that they haven't been there. Smackle hasn't been in an episode since episode 4. It's really strange. But Smackle and Zay, besides them not being there, and then besides that Dory plot, I really did enjoy this episode overall. I thought it was really good. Not as good as the past 2, but I still really did enjoy it overall. I didn't really think they needed this subplot, but other than that, I thought it was really good. Let me know what you guys thought of this episode. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it, and I will see you guys next week, which will be for Queen of the South, and I will see you guys for that. Okay, bye.